Hello everyone and welcome to Cineful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to check through an article that Warhammer community posted last night. Normally, I'd have these out a little bit quicker, but been a bit busy the past few days. Kiddies and all that, it's the middle of the week when they release these now. And the kiddies have started kindy this year, so that is a new life experience, but nonetheless, I want to talk about this article because this is about army building and how it will work in the new edition that is Warhammer 40k 10th edition. And so I'm really excited because this is a massive part of the game. Like, I have lived through many different 40k editions. I remember when I got back in 4th, maybe 5th, no, I think it was 4th originally. And that was, you know, the troops HQ and that was it. And then slowly it moved to 6th and we started getting the detachments or the... what were they called? The battalions or whatever they're called. I forget the actual name. Was it detachments? I'm not sure. But either way, and you know, the formations. Formations was the word. We started getting formations added into the game, and obviously that's changed over time. And now we've got these cool different detachments, which I really like. But we're going to have a look. And so for the new edition, the rules team have tried to incentivize the use of a wider range of units by ensuring that each one has a cool, unique ability to bring to the field. Troops are no longer attacks. You must pay to unlock the units you actually want to take, but absolutely still seeing plenty of classic line troops. That's cool. I like it. I do think there is issues with not having troops be compulsory, but also there's issues when they're compulsory troops that things do feel like attacks. We've had this in Warhammer Fantasy before, where core troops were, you know, throwaway units. Or we've had the opposite in Age of Sigmar, where so many things can be unlocked to be the core thing that you stop seeing the baseline troops and you see these really sort of different armies. But 40k does have some things to stop that. So, mustering your army. Anyway, first of all, it's selecting your battle size on your different table sizes. I love the two different table sizes for me. The smaller size table games are really great for a late night evening. Start your army roster. You choose your faction like before. You select your detachment rules. You select your units, and then you promote your warlord at the end of the thing. So battle size, there are now 3 main battle sizes: Incursion, Strike Force, and Onslaught. 500-point games are still perfectly possible, though this is essentially what the new thing for combat patrols is meant to be for. That is meant to be the 500-point games, which is cool. Army roster. Now, rosters can be anything you want to be and be able to download blank ones, which is cool. This step hasn't changed. You pick your favorite army and prepare for battle. This step also decides your faction keyword. Note it's quite rare to pick allies in most game modes. It's assumed your force will be drawn from a single faction. However, if you want to play large games representing command forces, say an Imperial Indominus Crusade fleet, you absolutely can in a casual setting. So in competitive, it's pretty much remove allies from the game. Okay. Select detachment rules. Here's where the difference begins to show themselves. Instead of choosing a sub-faction or constructing your own, you now choose a single set of detachment rules for your whole army. These include special abilities, enhancement stratagems, and unit restrictions. For instance, you might be playing a Gladius Task Force of the Adeptus Astartes. Your faction gives you the Over Moment rule. More on that in the coming week. But while your detachment gives you access to 6 unique stratagems on top of the core group in the main rules, as well as 4 exclusive enhancements for your Space Marine characters. It also bags you the Combat Doctrines ability, which allows you to pick from 3 powerful doctrines during your command phase. So this pretty much sounds like standard Ultramarine stuff. Now, if you choose to fight with different detachment, you'd replace the stratagems, enhancements, and combat doctrines with the new detachment. Detachment choice can very rarely be tied to an army color scheme, so while Ultramarines might theoretically and practical masters of the Gladius Task Force, other chapters can use it too, and same will be true for many other detachments as they're added into the game. Now, this is where I worry, because I think some people have rightly pointed out that this is just exactly the same as what we have in a different light, and just using the new edition to sort of bring light to it. I have a feeling, you know, like, it all depends how many there are of these. For me, really, like Gladius Task Force, if there's like 3 different ones, that's fine, but I have a feeling there won't be. I have a feeling there'd be, you know, at least maybe one for every Space Marine chapter to have as its core one. Now, this does depend, but even if we start seeing like Blood Angels and Dark Angels become their own codex, this is an issue because we're looking at Space Marines, right? If there is one to suit every major Space Marine chapter, and then we assume that probably includes Death Watch and Black Templars along with our first foundings, that is 11 different ones. That is 66 stratagems from the get-go. That is still an awful lot, and that is just Space Marines. We know there's probably just as many from Chaos Space Marines when you consider there are your 9 Trader Legions, along with probably Red Corsairs in there as well, and probably Creations of Bile. So getting unique ones, be really interesting to see how that sort of goes. And that is a little bit of one of my worries with 40k. Is this just going to be the same amount of stratagems, or indeed still a lot of stratagems in a different skin? But I do like the idea of this. I do like this. I think this becomes hard to balance if you do start going down the route of lots of them. You start having, when we used to have this for Age of Sigmar, right? Where your subfaction or chapter or whatever you want to call it would have a warlord trait, a enhancement. It would have a special command ability, and all of that tied into this one thing, along with a unique special rule or two. And the problem with that is because each one of these had so many things added attached to it, and there were so many, even like brand new codexes or armies with limited ranges, like Fireslayers who have 4 different troop options. You would see these, they would have 6 different sub-factions in Fireslayers or whatever, 4, 6, whatever. But they would have so many of these that there would clearly be 1 or 2 winners, and this becomes incredibly hard to balance. In Age of Sigmar now, what it's changed to is there's just simply a generic enhancement, generic warlord trait. And look, I like that not all warlord traits in enhancements in Age of Sigmar now, they haven't gone making 6 of each. They haven't set themselves a number. There are some books where they've gone, we have 5, and they're 5 decent ones. Some books have 3, but they're all decent. I would rather have it doesn't need to be equal. If they're all decent, it creates options and it creates diversity. But also, with the rules and the subfaction rule, it's just a single special rule. So that special rule can apply, and it's clearly tied in with playing some sort of way. I think when you're having so much tied to that subfaction and being unlocked, if one subfaction has only one part of it that's good, or one part of it that is overwhelmingly good, you're going to see that one just become the norm. So while you might have, say, 8 detachments in a Space Marine Codex, in reality, if they're not balanced well, you will just have 2. And so that can be an issue. So picking units. So first of all, you must include at least 1 character in your force. You can only include 1 of each named epic hero. So no difference there. I like that they've given them a cool keyword here. Epic hero is cool. You can include up to 3 units of each data sheet. However, you can include up to 6 units of each data sheet with the battle line or dedicated transport keywords. So this is interesting. Dedicated transports can only be taken up to 6 options. I don't think that's going to matter too much in normal sized games. Having 6 different transports in a 2K game is probably not going to matter too much. 3K, maybe it starts to matter. But I think in the games where you want more transports than that, you're going to be playing massive games that are just ignoring these rules anyway. Each character can only have 1 enhancement. You can't include more than 3 enhancements in total, and these must all be different. Cool, so no stacking enhancements. So does this mean you can't stack a warlord trait and a relic on the same one? That would be interesting. So you now choose a character as your leader. They gain the warlord keyword, and you're ready to select your missions. Cool. So lastly, there's real power and simplicity of the new system. Now no detachment will ever need more than a couple of pages to cover all its unique rules and restrictions, meaning they will never again need to waste time flicking through. I do like this. This is cool, only 2 pages of rules. It does mean the game is wider, but your game shouldn't be. This will have an effect on competitive, being still this really wide and varied thing, but I think on a casual level, this certainly is going to be better because, you can play your game with your opponent. And realistically, I think the vast majority of gamers have their little gaming group they play with, that's them and a couple of mates. Many of us don't have massive clubs, don't have stores we go to. There are many gamers that are just, play in their basement, play with their brother, play with their couple of close friends. And so with that, I think this could be really good for that because it'll just be cool, I'm playing with this one set, and you go before the game and go, cool, there's, 10, well, not really if you pick your warlord trait, your relic, or up to 3, that's 4. It's 10 things you need to remember that they could do, and that's if they've picked all the different enhancements they could have, I guess. But I'm interested to see, what are your thoughts on this, the new detachment, the more open detachment force building? This is definitely something Age of Sigmar had, where it's a lot less restrictive. So be interesting. The core is still there, and yeah, be really interesting to see what everyone thinks of it. What is your thoughts on the new detachments for 40k? And so that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fantastic little community here, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. If you would like to, you can do so either by YouTube members or Patreon, or by grabbing yourself some merch at Teespring or at our Ko-fi store. All of them are linked down in the video's description. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallers, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Colomos, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members: Green Rich Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weird, James Tillman, Gargamel196, and Disco. Lastly, a special thanks, first of all, to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing art with the channel, everyone who helps come and provide the games for everyone to watch on the channel as well, and indeed all our fantastic mods and members of the community who keep our Discord and comment section a fantastic place for all to be. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.